very fast. There's one young guy in hospital at this time, Craig Morris, that's had a pretty bad tumble at Oran Parkway, Emery, last weekend. I wish Craig was here because he would just add a little bit more colour to this race meeting. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that we'll at least be there.
Is the new bike running well?
Yeah, we've had a few problems earlier in the week, just with carburation at this this circuit, particularly because of the mountain and varying atmospheric pressures. So we're getting that organised. So the 350 race is going to be a bit of a see how it goes, and the 250 will be very interesting.
They tell me that in practice earlier in the week you were actually taking something like a 1.5 seconds off the old lap record held by Jeff Sayle. Yeah, we're getting very close and sometimes getting underneath it, but as I said, like with so many dramas, we could have sort of knocked it to completely apart, but possibly it'll happen today. One thing that puzzles a lot of us is how do you get off a 750 superbike onto a 250 Grand Prix road racer?
Well, I think it's just from years of experience of doing this, riding all types of machinery all the time. It just helps you to climb out to the different machines, but first and second lap of each bike that I use, I always sort of dial in and say, I keep reminding myself I'm on a different motorcycle, so be very careful. So that's how I treat every race.
Good luck.
Thanks, Neil.
Can we have all later shut off, please?
Reigning Australian 250 champion Donnie Osborne, the first big Grand Prix of the weekend, the 350. How do you think you'll go?
We've got as much show as anybody else. Our bike's a little bit quicker in a straight line, but Jeffrey Sayle's got the experience and Michael Dowson's riding hard, so it's going to be a good one.
No problems in the lead-up?
No, only nerves.
The bike going well?
Yeah.
It seemed to be very quick down the straight yesterday.
Yeah, it's the old man's done a lot of work on it, and it's right. We're confident.
Good luck.
When do you come back after?
Jeffrey Sayle, a tense moment just before the start of the first big Grand Prix for the weekend.
Yeah, a little bit nervous, but after this race we should be all right. After the warm-up lap, usually the nerves go.
How's the new TZ250S model going for you, all right?
It's performing pretty well. Compared to all the other bikes, it's probably just as good. The only exception is Donnie Osborne's bike's very, very fast. We've done a little bit of work since practice, and hopefully it'll work out right and be just as fast. Maybe it won't, but hopefully it will be.
You've got a job to do, I'll leave you to it.
Thank you.
So the field comes to the grid for the first Grand Prix of the 1986 Mount Panorama meeting, the Australian 350cc Grand Prix, over 8 laps. They're ready for the start, and they're racing. Michael Dowson on bike 7 down the inside, but he might well be cut off in the first corner. He isn't, and Dowson takes the lead.
Michael Dowson up Mountain Straight for the first time in this 8-lap encounter for the Australian 350cc Grand Prix. And Dowson riding the TZ's 250 Yamaha is in second place behind Donnie Osborne on bike number 1 from Geelong in Western Victoria. Third is bike number 45 there. And a full field of a mixture of 250 and 350 capacity bikes go through. Now up to the top, and it's Dowson the leader. Osborne back to second. So a change of placings as they came through GDX Bend for the first time, now to the top of the mountain. And Dowson stamping his name on this already.
In third place is the wild man of Yugoslavian motorcycle racing, Nenad Lija, riding the Nico Baker framed Yamaha TZ350. But the man in the lead is Michael Dowson. He's already done 91 racing laps of Mount Panorama this weekend, and he's running hot.
Yesterday's performance in the RI 500 was brilliant from Dowson, considering that he brought his motorcycle home in second placing with problems with the machine. They've drafted, they being the Mulberry Yamaha dealer team, have drafted ace tuner Tony Hatton to their team this weekend to make sure that Michael Dowson's machine is absolutely in tip-top condition for the race.
Dowson, of course, one of the new Yamaha TZ250S models, riding in this race. Recently brought to Australia.
On the straight now, and Osborne having a dice here for second place, with Dowson long gone in the distance. What will be the outcome as they come across the top of the second hump, now towards the JPS bridge? and it would appear as though Osborne is mixing it once more as they go down to the left-hander. So Dowson gone. Oh, and Osborne in trouble. Osborne dropping out to fourth, late braking, almost threw the machine out into the dust, and there's Dowson. What a gap. Up into second place comes bike number 67, and that's Peter Salmon from Queensland. Now, Michael Dowson back along Mountain Straight towards Castrol GTX, and Dowson with around about 5 seconds already over the rest of the field. And this great scrap here for second and third.
And second place is taken over now by Leonard Leger. Again, there's Jeffrey Sayle back in the pack, and way back in the pack is Jeffrey Sayle. That's a turn up. And the leader, of course, is Michael Dowson, running hot. And that's the gap back to Leonard Leger in second position. The former Yugoslav champion, been racing here for a couple of years. Probably the wild man of 250cc Grand Prix racing. Not too many people who like to get too close to him when he's running. But look at the gap that Michael Dowson's leading out to him from the pack behind him.
The way that Dowson is performing at the moment, one could expect Jeff Sayle's old lap record to tumble. The time set last year of 2:21.52, and that's a lap average on a 250 bike, mind you, of 157 kilometres an hour. We'll monitor that for you and see what happens. But Dowson streaking off into the distance on the new bike. This battle here, a fascinating one. 350cc racing in Europe discontinued now, so development has virtually stopped on this kind of machine. Look at Jeff Sayle coming up here as well. He's in fifth, and is that Osborne as well?
Yes, Osborne down the outside, back into second position. Sayle's the danger down the inside, but he cuts back to the outside again, and then all of a sudden, everyone swamps the man in the inside of the truck, and it's Osborne up into second position again.
Jeffrey Sayle now to third, and Peter Salmon dropping back into fourth.
And there is the mark of a champion in Jeffrey Sayle. He hung back from that braking duel, let everyone else get into trouble, and then just snuck his way through into third position.
Peter Hinton, the next rider through on bike number 38. So Hinton hasn't made the best of starts either. And Donnie Osborne on the RS250R2 model Honda, one of the new Grand Prix machines from the Honda factory. And he's being looked after by Vince Genova of Nova Honda in Melbourne, as well as Alan Osborne. And Jeff Sayle there on bike number 10, also riding one of the TZ250S model Yamahas, similar to that of Michael Dowson's. Now up towards the top of the hill, the spectators there really enjoying some great racing as these thoroughbred Grand Prix bikes peel off and go through the very fast left-hander at Castrol Curve. But there appears to be no catching Michael Dowson at this stage of the game. Through the gears across the top. There's Osborne and Sayle. This appears to be the real battle now within this race. Sayle, of course, a veteran of Grand Prix type racing, having done a number of seasons overseas where he contested the World 250cc Road Racing Championships and fared extremely well. Been back in the country now for about 2 years, and good to have him back at Bathurst again this year. But Michael Dowson, the man of the moment underneath the JPS bridge, and opening up a huge gap, and there it is, back to second place Donnie Osborne. John, you've got the clock on him, and the gap
is 9.07 seconds on only lap 2, so Michael Dowson is really flying.
.350 capacity bikes seem to be floundering in this field at the moment, with the top 3 250s at the head of the field.
And just look at that old chassis shake itself as it goes up the main straight then. That's the problem with riding old machines like this, that you really are starting to risk it a bit with chassis condition.
There's Martin Bathurst from Queensland pulling out on bike 60.
Meantime, Leonard Leger still leads the minor skirmish as Michael Dowson charges down through the S's. Donnie Osborne has now opened a bit of a gap on Jeffrey Sayle, and that could be telling because Sayle has not had a good time in practice. His brother Murray has been preparing the machine for him, and a touch there from two riders that went over Skyline. Just a gentle nudge, but enough to let you know that you shouldn't hog the track. As I was saying, Murray Sayle has in fact been preparing Jeffrey Sayle's machine And the riders of the two Sayle brothers have tended to go very conservatively in their choice of jetting for today's race, after not being able to be particularly certain of engine condition after practice. And it seems to be telling as Sayle starts to drop back a little bit off the tail of Donnie Osborne.
Actually, Jeff was saying to me just prior to this race that in fact they really got to almost a panic stages situation where they said, well, to the hell with it, we'll just go a little leaner on the bike and try and get some pace out of it, because they are very concerned at just how quick Michael Dowson's bike number 7 is performing. And Dowson really punting it along at the moment to the top of the circuit again. But here comes Michael Dowson on Conrod Straight, and this time through he'll receive the last lap board. 1 lap to go for Dowson before he takes the Australian 350cc Grand Prix. This will give you some idea of the gap back to Osborne. At last check, just in excess of 9 seconds. So Osborne would appear to be very comfortable now in his spot. But the interesting one is Jeff Sayle back in third, because all the time he's been dropping back into the clutches of riders like Peter Hinton and co. There's Sayle in third. 6.2 kilometres now separating him from the checkered flag, and can he hang on? He's been dropping back more and more all the time, John.
Sayle is about 11 seconds now behind Donnie Osborne, but he's only second from Peter Hinton. Hinton, of course, is the brother of Tony Hinton, who last year won the 500cc Grand Prix at Mount Panorama, and of course he's the last surviving riding member of the famous Hinton family, which between them have won more than 20 Grands Prix at Mount Panorama.
Hinton also had a sensational battle the year before in the 125, so he's been in the thick of it for a while, or the Hintons have been in the thick of it for a while at Bathurst, so this will be very, very interesting indeed, as Peter now tries to do something about Jeffrey Sayle, and he's really punting this machine across the top, and he's got his hands full. Behind him on bike 12 is Steve Hardwick. There's Sayle, there's the gap, the flash of Hinton's bike in the background.
Sayle's bike has been sounding really off in the last few laps. Certainly not running on the full 2 cylinders. And here he comes now down into Forest Elbow for the last time, just the length of Conrod Straight between himself and Peter Hinton. There goes Peter now. He's probably too far back to do anything with it. Here comes Michael Dowson round to take the checkered flag and win the Australian 350cc Grand Prix. In second position comes this man, Donnie Osborne on the Honda. Looks behind him and there's only daylight, and Donnie Osborne takes second place. But here's the dice for third position, and it's Hinton. He's past Sayle. Down Conrod Straight for the last time. Only 1 corner remaining, and Hinton is opening the gap on Sayle, and Sayle can do nothing about it in the braking area. And Peter Hinton is going to take third place in the Australian Motorcycle Grand Prix for 350cc machines. And he's done it. And the results of the Australian 350cc Grand Prix: Michael Dowson first, Donnie Osborne second, and Peter Hinton third, outside the lap record set by Greg Hansford in 19...